Leicester. Yeah, it's 4:10. Now, about 14 mosques across Leicester are taking part in a special event this evening, actually, to honour and defend the Holy Quran by praying it. This comes after a protester burned a Quran outside a mosque in the Swedish capital of Stockholm last week. Now, plans to burn copies of the Quran have sparked riots in that country in recent months. Police had rejected similar protest applications recently, but courts then ruled that they should be allowed on freedom of expression grounds. Muslims consider the Quran the sacred word of God and view any intentional damage or show of disrespect towards it as deeply offensive. But rather than a public protest, organisers have arranged a special prayer following the complete recitation of the Holy Book to show their mark of respect for it. It's been organised by the Association of Suli Ulama in Leicestershire. Hafiz Zulkarnain is an imam from Leicester and joins us now. Hafiz, good afternoon.
Hi, thank you very much for having me here.
Why is it important to mark and reflect this that's going on in Sweden?
It's important with the day and age that we live in today to reassure the community that we have a deeper understanding of the Holy Book itself, the Quran itself. But more, the way we see it as imams is we have a sense of responsibility. The responsibility being that with the way the world is going and the way how people are still in this day and age trying to recover from the COVID and the lockdowns, it's affected a lot of people's mental and physical health. And people put their trust in us. Where they come and they either come for counselling or any sort of therapy. And this is adding on to their depression or their anxiety because we hold the Quran very near and dear to our hearts. And when a situation like this takes place, not only does it affect the day-to-day Muslim, but it makes us feel secluded. And then we have the responsibility as imams where people want to be reassured, people want to know what stance to take, people want to know what we are doing. And the way I see it is I've been born and bred in Leicester. My father was born and bred here as well. We've always lived in peace. We've always had harmony. We've always loved our neighbours. We take care of each other. We have a good time. So it's our responsibility to keep that sort of an environment because should we not speak, we will also be held responsible.
I suppose it's interesting, and we were talking about this off air, but I understand that to a degree, but why would the actions of people in Sweden, different country, different legislation, different worldview, if you like, why would that affect Muslims living in Leicester?
So the way I usually try to describe the Quran, it's like breathing. And usually when I teach it, it's like your seven senses. The way Muslims hold the Quran is like you don't do breathing, it just happens. And the way we see the word of God, because this is the direct word of God, it's like a tailor-made suit for everyone. So it fits perfectly for us. And when the Quran itself is offended, then we're responsible. The way I see it is the situation in Sweden, he's a product of his climate. And the day and age that we live in today and the way the world is going, hate has become very normal now. You know, when Her Majesty passed away, some people shrugged their shoulders, whilst other people were ready to stand in the line for 3 days. If Leicester City gets relegated, it hurts us as well. So in the same way, we hold things near and dear to us. And in order for us to understand this is, we want to, first of all, send a message that we don't encourage any sort of violence, demonstration, and any sort of dangerous or any sort of disruptive behavior is not going to be accepted. So the way the teachings of the Quran are, is like, for us, the community cohesion, harmony, and the other, keeping the community together, that's the priority.
Sorry to interrupt. From what you're saying, it seems to me it's almost like you're heading it off at the pass here. You're saying, look, we understand. We know how painful this is. What we're going to do is we're going to pray together. Because of that, enabling harmony before...
Yeah.
No matter how vanishingly small it might be, before people get distressed and perhaps turn to anger.
Absolutely. And the way we see it is we've had situations in Leicester where things have gone out of hand, and this is not the type of city to react in that certain way. So in order to save us from that sort of, we're going to collectively pray, and not only for the peace and harmony and the well-being of people's mental well-being and physical well-being of the community, we'll pray for everyone. And if you take a look at one of the basic teachings of the Quran, it's we are told that our neighbors are 40 doors to the right and 40 doors to the left. And if we sit at homes, especially myself as an imam, if I sit at home saying, okay, what's happened has happened, then people will feel, not only will they feel at unease, but I'm not fulfilling the basic needs of my religion.
Do you feel a greater pressure to do something about this in the light of the unrest in the city last year?
Not really. No, it's not a pressure because Leicester's very understanding in this. We have a great legacy in Leicester. Leicester's not known to be disruptive. And the reason why I say it's not a pressure is because we are dealing with a community that wants to hear from us. And when they hear, they understand before reacting. So I don't see it as a pressure.
So what are you actually planning to do?
So today we're going to gather 13 mosques across Leicester. We're going to pray. We're going to get together after our late night prayers. We're going to get together. We're going to collectively pray, and then the imams are going to supplicate for, everyone. They're going to make prayers for everyone around us, and we're going to try to use this as a moment to show the true meanings of the Quran and how much it's valued to us, not only physically, but how much it means to us spiritually as well. And as the Association of Sunni Ulama Leicester, we want to take a spiritual standpoint to this as well.
What do you make? It's interesting, as I understand it, in Sweden, that initially these protests were banned, but then they were allowed on the principle of freedom of expression. What has the greatest? What trumps which? Does freedom of expression, is that more important than creating religious offence, or vice versa?
I think freedom of speech has taken off. Freedom of expression, you can call it, has gone through a very different direction now. There should be, the way we have laws here, there's laws in America as well where, religion can't be discriminated. I understand nowadays with politics, and I think it's about the deeper understanding of things where if we understand how the community and the society is nowadays, where they're recovering constantly, we've got the crisis of, expenses and etc. So it's hard for everyone, and that's where our responsibility is for as imams.
First, it's a joy to have you in the studio. Thank you for coming and
so
explaining
much.
that to us. Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Much appreciated.
It's 18 minutes.